was thinking about my free writing there was about basically most of the 90s, which I spent dancing just through the full decade. And why that was so important and what I would have done if I hadn't have spent my time doing that. And clearly I was going out, nights out, clubbing, drinking, dancing, but I only ever went to dance. And reflecting upon that now, I wasn't going to a club, meeting people, socializing, that sort of thing. Yeah, but 4 or 5 hours a night just dancing continually. And became, being addicted to that. I miss it now. I mean, my knees couldn't possibly hold up to that level of energetic exercise. And besides, the COVID doesn't allow anyone to go to a club, and I'm far too old enough, for that nowadays. The other thing I was thinking about was, when you go to a wedding, say, for example, and the whole procedure unfolds and everyone's waiting for the first dance to happen. I'm always waiting for the first dance to happen, because once that happens, we can get on the dance floor and get down to the nitty-gritty. The wedding's been lovely, but let's have a dance. And yet I'm always amazed about the volume of people in the room that never hit the dance floor. So whilst we're like-minded people here on this chat, and we're all in our different ways believing that dance matters, there's a huge cohort of the population that has no interest in dance, or that might like to watch dance but would not even think about doing it themselves. People that never step foot on the dance floor at a wedding, or that wouldn't understand the feelings that you get from dancing, or why you even do it. There's a whole, and what I'm interested in, I suppose, by bringing this point up, is what is going on in their head. Why don't they dance? Why do they not want to dance? There's people out there that maybe might be too shy or just don't have the ability, but I think it's interesting to acknowledge that lots of people don't feel that way.
Thank you for bringing that up. I think that's really interesting. And like, for example, my dad hates dancing. Like, it's his worst nightmare to like have to go and dance like at a wedding or something. But he will be in tears listening to Beethoven symphony, and it'll get him in his heart, and that's the most beautiful thing to him. And I think that's I think it's all right that not everyone it's not everyone's thing, and I think that there's value in, I think there's transferable kind of like understanding from one art form to the other, and maybe there's crossovers that maybe if dance isn't your thing but something else is. I don't really know what I'm saying now, but
well, I think it's just interesting to wonder what's happening in their brains. That's what I'm thinking about. And linking to Michelle's point about play, maybe if more people were a little bit more, I mean more people, but if somebody that didn't like dance now was able to look at it as playtime or in a different fashion, they might, suddenly start dancing.
Yeah. So how it's framed, yeah. Go on, Jo.
I think it's, I don't think everybody would admit or even realise that the thing that's stopping them from dancing or enjoying dancing is fear of dancing. But I think it does get knocked out of you at quite a young age, or dancing becomes this thing where it's something that you should only do if you're good at it. And because people think that they're not good at it, they stop dancing. And there's no such thing as a bad dancer. There just isn't. Even if you're not dancing in time to the music, or you can only move a small part of your body, it's still, if you're getting some sort of enjoyment out of it, then it's good. But I think there's so much pressure on dancing to look good that rather than feel good, it becomes this thing where people say they can't do it. And it's understandable, because I do it with singing. I say I can't sing. I can. I've actually got an all right singing voice, but because I'm not like professional standard or whatever, I would, I'll sing at home, I'll sing in front of my friends, but I don't even go on karaoke because I'm like, oh no, I can't do that, I'm not good enough. And I think it's a general thing throughout all art forms. I think it's that there's so much emphasis on being good at it and the outcome. And this is something that Tamar talks a lot about, like, rather than it be like the like an outcome, it's the process, and it's the experience of what you go through when you experience dancing, and that is the outcome. That's the thing that you're getting at. It's not necessarily practicing to achieve an end point. It's the actual doing of it. That is the point of it. So yeah, I think it's a cultural thing largely, and I think we try quite a lot to really get around that by when we're doing dancing with people. We will often say, especially in warm-ups and improvisations and things, we'll say not worrying about how it looks. And I think sometimes that's quite hard to get people to actually really believe in, because I think people might be thinking, I'm not meant to worry about how this looks, but I'm still worrying about how it looks. So I think we try to sort of set that up, but I think it's
that point about how it looks as well. If you think how we dress our dance studios, we always put massive mirrors all the way along the wall. So to try and say, and I know exactly what you mean, Jo, because what I like in the dancing is how it feels. That's why I still get involved, because I like the way it makes me feel. I try not to look at myself really, because in my head I look totally different to what's actually happening out there. And yet we've got a wall full of mirrors. Maybe we should cover the mirrors up.
We sometimes have covered the mirrors, and some people like dancing with mirrors because where there's the thing of the how it feels, there's also the thing of like alignment and stuff like that. Sorry, I've just taken over the question now.
No, it's great.
Like people sort of like to look to see if they've got the shoulders down, and maybe we need to put a bit more emphasis on just feeling whether you've got your shoulders down and feeling whether you've got your arms straight in the right position. And but yeah, it's definitely something to take into account in it.
I was just going to say that I guess there's that weird thing with dance where actually when you're on a stage, people are watching you, and it's like this double-edged sword of it being a very like visual aesthetic thing, but then it also just being a really kind of like lived and felt experience. And I think there's there's a reason why a lot of trained dancers have eating disorders or issues around body image, because there is such an emphasis on how you look and that sort of thing. But I guess I am interested in pushing those sort of norms and, thinking about dance in a bit more of a radical way, of that it can be more than what it looks like when we experience it. But yeah, that's like a whole other can of worms, isn't it? Really, maybe we should
that's something that sorry Tim, I think that's something that's kept the dance profession going for many years, that whole process versus product debate. And I think all artists and people working and potentially other art forms as well, I don't know so much about those, but you might have an opinion on that, Michelle. But where are you? Are you purely about how it feels, how it makes you feel, how it makes people in the space feel, or are you purely about how it looks and where it looks? It's somewhere in the middle, and what works for you. And I think what's interesting actually over not just tonight, but a lot of these chats is people have been considering and identifying where they are on that continuum, and it might move depending on the sort of what we're doing, where we are in our career. As you said, we absorb all these things as we go along. Really,
I was just going to say, I think that that reflects something that Tamar said right at the beginning about why dance matters, or any other art form matters, how it changes from time to time, whether that's in terms of a different project's requirement or just how you're feeling and how you're creating and expressing yourself in that day, in that moment. So I don't think there's it's always about product. It's always about the process. I think it's always about all of those, depending on how you feel and what you're putting into it.
Yeah. That's right. It's absolutely to do with your own values and what why you think dance is important.